Welcome, Christopher, to Metallarium Pages. It's a great pleasure to talk with you about Closer in Moscow, this new album, and obviously more things related to rock and metal in general. So we start by asking, how was the band been during the last years before the release of this new album? How are you now? How's the excitement to release this new album?
Yeah, the album's kind of been worked on for the last probably almost 4 years now, on and off, and really picked up steam in 2020 into 2021. And now that if it doesn't feel real that it's all about to be released. It's yeah, I I don't know how to feel about it until it actually happens, because it just doesn't feel real.
Well, yeah, because your previous album, Pink Lemonade, was released in 2014. Now, 9 years later, we have Soft Health. So why do you delay to release this new album? 9 years.
Life just happened. All the good and the bad of life. You know, it's time creeps up. It happens fast, and before you know it, it's 9 years later. Yeah, I think if it could have happened any sooner, it would have. I would have liked to I would have liked for it to have happened sooner, but we're here now, so I'm just excited for it to be coming out now.
Hmm.
Hey,
Okay, okay. Well, I saw that when talking about your discography, I saw that the first Temple was released in 2009. But in 2018, you decide to re-release or to remaster this first Temple again. So why do you decide to do this? Did you no agree with with the result at the 2009? That's why.
I mean, at the time we were very happy with how it turned out. I think Chris Crummer did a great job. I just think it was because we were going to release it on vinyl for the first time, and when we asked Chris Crummet, who produced it, to remaster it for vinyl, he just gave it another once over, because it had obviously been, a while since then, and I think he felt like he could give it another better pass. So while he was doing it for the vinyl, he just yeah, he did a remaster because he felt, I guess, he could get a bit more juice out of it.
Mm, okay. Well, 9 years of difference between the albums. Obviously, it's normally that the listeners like me or reviewers find a lot of changes because 9 years, almost 10 years of existence for in life. So, but in your description, what are the biggest difference that exists compared to the previous album, Pink Lemonade, compared to this new one?
Um, I mean, this might be biased because I think every artist would say this. I just think the songs are, you can hear that there's been 9 years of you know, working on our song craft and just writing better songs and playing parts and contributing parts to the songs that just serve songs better. Um, I think there's still as much to sink your teeth into as Pink Lemonade, but it's definitely more accessible and more sophisticated.
Hmm. Okay. One detail that I saw, well, according to your music and according to the videos, is that the element of a lot of colors, like acid, like the acid rock, this kind of aspect. So, but I read some reviews about the last one or this or the previous one, and a lot of reviewers say that the band has a style like the hardcore, post-hardcore. I don't know why it's related with the post-hardcore because when I hear your music in this Soft Hell and Pink Lemonade, I found a band progressive progressive rock that's with acid elements, psychedelic elements, etc., etc. But for you,
Hmm.
what is exactly a style or label that you put for Closer in Moscow?
Uh, I don't know, man. I don't think I have the answer for that. I guess rock. I mean, we play guitars and a bass and a drum kit. I mean, it falls into the umbrella of rock, but I don't know if it's strictly prog or it's definitely not strictly prog. It's I don't think it's really Softail and Pink Lemonade aren't really completely post-hardcore. I don't know. I feel like I don't. I'm not a. I'm not an aficionado on
Labels.
genres enough to know. So I think I can just leave that to other people to 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 figure out what category it falls into.
Okay, okay. Well, recently, when in during the last I think 7 years, I saw that a lot of progressive, psychedelic, but celebrate or smooth rocks bands came out from the Australia. It started with Caligula's Horse, You Closer. I interviewed a lot of bands like in the same vein, progressive,
Hmm.
this kind of stuff. So what happened that now in Australia that now are releasing more progressive stuff in the music. Always Australia into the rock and metal scene are always very different from the from different countries in the world.
Hmm. Yeah, I think we just have our own thing here. I'm not sure what it is exactly. I mean, I guess that's just like any place really. But yeah, uh it is really cool that there is such a great scene for that stuff here. Um because we are a pretty low population density country and you'd think there wouldn't be a lot of it going on, but yeah, it's I'm not sure what really kicked it off, but yeah, it's really good.
Mm, okay, okay. So now, as you can see, now we are living that the world prefers to hear the music just by singles. No, that's we're returning back in time with the 40s and 60s like that stuff. So for you,
Yeah,
which song for this new album capture whole textures essence for the new people for the new era?
it's a good question. Because I feel like maybe on this record, any one song I don't think is really indicative of the album as a whole. So it'd be hard to pick one that kind of encapsulates the whole thing. But at the same time, I feel like the whole album is very cohesive and all the songs like fit together well, but I don't know which one would represent it to new people. But if I had to just pick one, um, maybe I would just pick my favorite that feels like it's the most fun. So maybe I would pick the track Absolute Terror Field. And it's funny to choose that one because I think it is sort of a little more different than anything we've ever done, especially with like the style of the vocals in the verse, almost sort of being like for lack of a better term, like raps. But I just think there's something really like that song's got a really cool, unique flavor, but still very much us.
Mm, okay. When I try to find the label of this new for this new album, I try to find because you released the previous album with all the labels, but now I think this new album. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm okay with that. So perhaps this is released by yourself or you have a deal with some label because I tried to find the info in. I saw that you are releasing this new album by yourself.
Yeah, so it's released through our management's label, Birds Robe Records, and yeah, so it's independent, but like yeah, it's a label that puts out a lot of really cool like progressive stuff here in Australia. Um, and yeah, Mike, who runs the label, um, is also on managing duties for us, and he's just a really passionate dude. Um, really great musician himself. Really just a avid lover of music, and just happens to yeah also have business acumen out the wazoo.
Mm. Okay. Well, you are the singer for the Closer in Moscow since 2006. Now, how many changes did you see since the start of the band to now?
So since I've been in the band, there's been a guitarist backing vocalist change. There's been a bass player change, and there's been a drummer change. And currently, as it stands, Michael is the only original member of the band. And it started as, the classic friends in high school story between Michael, our guitarist, and our former bass player and drummer. But yeah, I think the current lineup has been around for quite a while now. Like it's been the same lineup since maybe like 2011, 2012.
Okay. And we are very close in this interview with Christopher. And for this aspect, what kind of plans do you have to promote this album? Perhaps you will do more videos. Perhaps you will do a tour in Australia. Perhaps you have also offers from Europe, US. Who knows?
Yeah, I think there'll be one more video once the album comes out. Maybe two. I'd like to do a video for every song if the budget allowed. I mean,
Yeah.
that'd be nice. But at least one. We've just announced that we're going back to the US in February for a couple of weeks, and then we'll hopefully be hitting a few more places in the US later in the year. Um, I'm not sure about UK and Europe yet, but that's at some point. I would love to come to South America for the first time. I mean, we've never been there. That's somewhere that I think would be really awesome to experience. Um, so yeah, hopefully we can make that happen.
Okay. Okay. And as I said, as I mentioned in the first question, talking about other kind of aspect, as you can see now, one of the details around the world that is control a lot of tastes and color is the algorithms into the social medias, digital platforms. Now you can hear the music just by the algorithms. It's not like
Mm-hmm.
the 80s or 90s, 70s when you find a CD or you find an LP and you listen full out. Now, for many
Yeah,
times now, the algorithm resume this kind of object to search music that you like. But with this
yeah,
aspect, some articles said that is according to the algorithm, the humankind are losing the free will. That's completely normal because now a lot of machines or AI trying to convince that this is good, this is bad, etc., etc. So for you, what do you think about the algorithm is entered into the music industry or in general in the entertainment area? Do
I
you
think
think
it's
that
a.
the yeah okay? Do you think
Oh no,
the
sorry.
okay?
What were you gonna say? You can
Yes, yes.
finish.
Do you think that the humankind are losing the free will?
No, I don't think we're losing our free will, but I think we're following the path of least resistance for our own like our own pleasure seeking and how do I say this? We still have free will. It's just our free will tends to want to have everything we want without being cautious of what we want and why we want it. And it's just it's just largely seems like dopamine chasing and yeah, it's interesting that I think it's a blessing and a curse. I think that hey, sometimes the algorithm can show you some cool new shit that you wouldn't have heard or seen before, and that's a good thing. That can't be bad. But there is the flip side, and I think largely the album experience, like you were saying, from like decades ago is gone. Even to the point where, like, you know, I'm I'm an elder millennial. I'm old enough to remember, you know, pre iPods and streaming when you had to have like the music on a physical medium, and it felt like it had more intrinsic value. Like it didn't feel ephemeral and disposable. It was like you got this album and it was on this CD, and it might have stayed in your CD player in your car for months, and you had it in your hands and you could like look at the booklet, and it was this thing with weight and like substance. I'm not saying that music doesn't have substance now. It's just I think there is some psychological thing to that where it felt a bit more special, like it had a bit more weight to it. I don't know. But you know, I think us doing this album in this way, uh, it's kind of a dying thing because, like you were saying, it's everything's single to single now. It's not really. No one listens to an album from start to finish. So why bother crafting an album from start to finish? But I still think that experience is a good experience. Like, and maybe it is a dying thing that not as many people want to experience. But I think it's still a good thing to have out there. And yeah, I think it's a blessing and a curse to go back to the algorithm thing. It's all a blessing and a curse where everything's heading generally. I think technology is is very good at bringing out our worst whims, and yeah, I think things are progressing and becoming more sophisticated and complicated, but we're not really progressing as far as wisdom or anything like that. I think we clocked wisdom thousands of years ago uh, in temples in India or something like that, and we've not really gotten any more wise, and we've just become just things have just gotten the stakes just keep getting higher, and who the fuck knows where it's going? But we've got front row seats to something insane.
Oh yeah, yeah, that is true. That is true. So, and with this aspect, as you mentioned now, oh, now the music has taken another place in the music because, as you can see, now that we are not years that more fill the stadiums, so bands that don't fill the stadiums now, and now everything is personalized by tastes and colors in the music, and obviously thanks to the when these kind of trends in TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. I don't know why. A lot of social medias. As you can see, there are trends that are really silly and even implausible just with the music as a background. So now it's
Mm-hmm.
not more interesting like the 80s, and when you hear the music for many times, these albums. You mentioned a few seconds ago that when you are the promo that release an album, buy the album, listen many times the album. But now it's very different. The music is as a background for this new generation to create silly stuff, sometimes interesting stuff,
Yeah.
etc., etc. So, where do you think enters in this generation that already consumes little or nothing physical material and only takes music as accompaniment to work, wash the car, go to the bed, go to the gym, etc., etc.?
Well, I think it's kind of, you know, in some regard, as far as music being just sort of an attachment, it's kind of been coming since the advent of like music videos and like, you know, 80s pop music videos kind of realized, hang on, if we just get like a group of really cute boys or like, you know, some hot babes draped over the car, like that's going to sell the music. And it became very, very image based. Um, and I think it just sort of has become more and more of a mutation of that. But yeah, I think as much as like you were saying, like music is a background thing for a lot of people, I think it's still like a very integral part of most people's lives. Um, I think I don't know, I could be wrong, but I feel like most people still really connect with music, even if they don't actively, avidly listen to it, like some of us do. I think it still like punctuates people's lives. I think it's probably the one art form that I think is like very universal for almost everyone in the world. Like I can't think of a person that doesn't like, even if they don't actively listen to music, doesn't love some form of music or a particular song. I could be wrong. Maybe there's people out there that fucking hate music, but yeah, it is interesting. I guess yeah, it does. Yeah, I don't know. I think people's lives now, yeah, it just becomes like, oh, I'll just put it on while I'm at the gym, or I'll put it on while I'm driving. But still, I mean, it's there because I think life would be pretty shit for a lot of people without some form of like uh music in that way. I think it's also pretty central to most people's lives, even if it's only being listened to while other stuff is happening. Because I still think for most people, it's like the most like vindicating art form when it comes to, oh, this totally captures how I'm feeling about this feeling right now. And I can't express it in this way, but this artist has expressed it in this way. I feel very validated that it feels like my feelings are coming through in this song. And this is like this beautiful manifestation of feelings that I'm having that I don't have the technical skill to manifest in that way because I'm not a musician. Like I don't know. I hope it's still very important in the world. I think it is, and I think it always will be, um, to some degree.
Okay, okay. Well, Christopher, the sad times survived this interview. I hope you enjoyed this one like me, terrific guy. This album is a very different approach to the progressive rock, but I like it. So congrats on
Thank you.
this new album. And perhaps we want to add something to your Latin American fans and Metalero followers.
Yeah. If you've been waiting for this album, thank you for being patient. Um, would really love to get to your part of the world. So spread the word, and hopefully we'll get to see you at a show. That'd be really sick.